Pacers in 6. Bring on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tony Katz, 93 WIBC. Good morning. JMV joins us right now, the voice of sports in Indiana from 93.5, 107.5. The fan. And, we took a look at that game 5, and they get kind of blown out by the Knicks. And then they respond in game 6. One could argue there's no rhyme, there's no reason. But it seems that when they play their game, which as you describe is this, utilizing the full court, they are always victorious. Is this the same rules that apply with the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Well, I mean, they have to play their game, Tony. There's no doubt about that against the Thunder. However, the Thunder actually do and are able to match up a heck of a lot better because what the Pacers do, what their niche is, with pace of play up and down the floor and depth of their team, the Thunder have that as well. And maybe even a little bit more of it. So that's what's going to make this an intriguing / unique and certainly an incredibly difficult matchup. And if you go by way of the 2 regular season meetings back in December, it was a 6-point Thunder win at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. No Chet Holmgren for them, no Aaron Nesmith for the Pacers. And then, I don't know if you remember this or not, Tony, but you go back to March, and the Boilermakers are playing the 1-seed Houston at Lucas Oil Stadium in the regionals. And the Pacers were on the road to OKC and had their doors absolutely blown off. And that was kind of under the radar because of what was going on here. And then it was on the road in OKC. So a couple of regular season matchups that simply put did not go well in those games for the Pacers against the Thunder, Tony.
So as you take a look at this, what is learned from the Knicks that they can take into Oklahoma?
Well, you got to play your game. I mean, regardless of whether or not OKC does match up with you well and does want to do the same thing, you have to play your game. And, you defensively, I'm assuming the MVP, SGA, Gilgeous-Alexander is going to have Nembhard. I was just kind of focusing on the matchups that we're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot of Nembhard, maybe a little bit of Nesmith, but keep that 94-foot pressure on, keep pressure on them. The rebounding aspect's going to be huge, but it starts, I think, with the defense. I feel the Pacers will be able to, at the pace of play, score the basketball. But I think one major focus, Tony, which is always going to be this, is going to be that of Tyrese Halliburton. Because this team, when he is both aggressive with getting his teammates involved as usual, and then aggressive with getting himself involved, this team is at a different level. We have seen that. There's evidence there. He has to be an absolute superstar, whether anybody wants to have that debate or not nationally, whatever, but he has to be that way and that level of aggression every single game for the Pacers to have a chance.
Talking to JMV, the voice of sports in Indiana, 93.5, 107.5. The fan, which means Halliburton has to be, quote unquote, more selfish. He has to be willing to take the shot. He has to be willing to keep the ball. Yet it's Pascal Siakam who is your MVP for the Eastern Conference Finals. You agree with that decision?
Yeah, I do. Either one would have been fine with me. Siakam was probably as consistently good, certainly, as anybody. And some of the matchups are going to be interesting because I'm assuming he's going to end up getting Chet Holmgren, who the Pacers, as I mentioned, didn't see in 2 regular season meetings with the Thunder. Miles probably gets Isaiah Hartenstein, who was with the Knicks a year ago, if you remember, in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And they'll probably throw a number of defenders, Tony, at Tyrese Halliburton, whether it's Dort or Caruso. I mean, they can come at you in waves, and their bench is as deep as the Pacers' bench. It really is fascinating to look at the possible matchups you have in this and think about what could occur. But it is going to be very tough for the Pacers, no doubt about that. But we still have a little bit of time to celebrate because Saturday was something that we haven't seen. It was a scene, well, actually going back 25 years we haven't seen, but it was something that I think is going to go down in history as being legendary for fans in this market. It was such a celebration of finally getting back to the NBA Finals. Truly was special, Tony. You
were there for it,
yeah.
And you talk about the bench play, as I'd commented to you. Our bench was incredible. Matherin seems like he was back after those first two games of the Eastern Conference Finals, where he was a non-existent mess for sure. The groove was back. Who on this bench should we be watching for in this series with Oklahoma?
He and Obi. I thought, as you mentioned, I had thought last week that the only person that was going to be able to really pull Matherin out of that funk was Benedict Matherin, and we saw him do that. And just Obi was so consistently good off the bench. So those are the two major focus guys. And, you know, as much as Tyrese Halliburton is, Tony, as an orchestrator we talked about with the starting unit, I think you're going to have a lot of hardcore play from T.J. McConnell, which we fully expect as well. So I think you start right there with that particular group. And, you know, Thomas Bryant had the game of his life when it really, truly mattered on Saturday night, too, coming in for Miles Turner, who was saddled with foul difficulties and knocked down 3 threes. It's going to be, Tony, simply put, it's going to be all hands on deck because the Thunder team is a great favorite for a reason. They are talented from top to bottom, and it is going to be tough.
That is JMV, the voice of sports in Indiana. We'll be checking in with you as this series gets started on Thursday. JMV, always appreciate it. Catch him every day over there at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan, starting at 3 p.m. Right now, Jeremy Scott